Today our topic is the power of resilient stories of comebacks. Life is full of challenges, and everyone faces tough times. Some people give up, but others find a way to keep going. These people show us what resilience means. Resilience is the ability to bounce back, to stand up again after falling, and to keep moving forward no matter how hard things seem. It is not about being perfect or never failing. It is about learning, growing, and finding strength, even when everything feels broken. Let me share some stories and thoughts about resilience that can inspire and motivate you. Think about Thomas Edison, the man who invented the light bulb. He failed thousands of times before he succeeded. People told him he was wasting his time, but he never gave up. He once said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His resilience changed the world. Imagine if he had quit after the first few tries. We might still be living in the dark. His story teaches us that failure is not the end. It is just a step on the path to success. Now, consider the story of J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter books. Before she became famous, she was a single mother living on welfare. She was struggling to take care of her child and had no job. She wrote her first book in cafes because she couldn't afford heating in her home. Publishers rejected her manuscript many times, but she kept going. She believed in her story. Today, Harry Potter is one of the most successful book series in history, and J.K. Rowling is one of the richest women in the world. Her story shows us that even when life feels hopeless, we can create something beautiful if we don't give up. Another great example is Nelson Mandela. He spent 27 years in prison for fighting against apartheid in South Africa. Many people would have felt bitter or given up after so much suffering. But Mandela used his time in prison to learn, grow, and prepare for the future. When he was finally released, he didn't seek revenge. Instead, he worked to bring peace and equality to his country. He became the president of South Africa and a symbol of forgiveness and resilience. His life reminds us that even in the darkest places, we can find light if we choose to. These stories show us that resilience is not just about strength. It is also about mindset. It is about how we see our problems and what we decide to do about them. Life will never be easy all the time. There will be moments when everything feels like it's falling apart. But these moments are also opportunities. They are chances to learn, to grow, and to become stronger. One way to build resilience is to focus on what you can control. The ancient philosophy of Stoicism teaches us this. Stoics believe that some things are in our control, like our thoughts, actions, and attitudes. Other things, like the weather, other people's opinions, or unexpected events, are not in our control. When we focus on what we can control, we feel more powerful. We stop wasting energy on things we cannot change and use it to improve our lives instead. For example, imagine you lose your job. This is a hard situation, and it's normal to feel upset. But instead of focusing on the fear or anger, you can focus on what you can do. You can update your resume, learn new skills, or network with people who might help you find a new job. You cannot control the fact that you lost your job, but you can control how you respond to it. This mindset shift is a key part of resilience. Another way to build resilience is to practice gratitude. When things go wrong, it's easy to focus on the negative. But if you take a moment to think about what you still have, you will feel stronger. Maybe you have a supportive family, good health, or a place to live. Maybe you have skills or talents that can help you overcome the problem. Gratitude helps us see the good in our lives, even when things are hard. It reminds us that we are not completely powerless. Resilience also comes from accepting failure as part of life. No one succeeds all the time. Even the most successful people have failed many times. What makes them different is how they handle failure. They don't see it as the end. They see it as a lesson. They ask themselves, what can I learn from this? How can I do better next time? This attitude helps them keep going and eventually succeed. Let me tell you about Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time. He was cut from his high school basketball team because his coach thought he wasn't good enough. Instead of quitting, he worked harder. He practiced every day to improve his skills. Later, he became a 6-time NBA champion and one of the most famous athletes in the world. He once said, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games, 26 times. I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." His words remind us that failure is not something to fear. It is something to embrace because it helps us grow. Another important part of resilience is having a support system. No one can do everything alone. We all need help sometimes. This could be from family, friends, mentors, or even strangers who believe in us. When we surround ourselves with positive and supportive people, we feel stronger. They remind us of our worth and help us see the light when everything feels dark. Remember the story of Oprah Winfrey. She grew up in poverty and faced many challenges, including abuse and discrimination. But she had people who believed in her, like her grandmother and teachers. They encouraged her to keep going and to believe in herself. She worked hard and eventually became one of the most influential women in the world. Her story shows us that even when life is hard, we can achieve great things if we have the right support and never give up. Finally, resilience is about having hope. Hope is the belief that things can get better, even when they seem impossible. It is the light that guides us through the darkest times. When we have hope, we find the strength to keep going. We believe that our efforts will pay off, even if we can't see the results yet. Think about the story of Malala Yousafzai. She was just a young girl in Pakistan when the Taliban tried to stop her from going to school. They shot her in the head, but she survived. Instead of giving up, she became even more determined to fight for girls' education. She started speaking out and became the youngest person to win the Nobel Peace Prize. Her courage and hope inspire millions of people around the world. She shows us that even in the face of violence and fear, we can stand up for what we believe in and make a difference. In conclusion, resilience is one of the most important qualities we can have. It helps us face challenges, learn from failures, and keep moving forward. Life will never be perfect, but with resilience, we can turn our struggles into strength. We can create something meaningful, no matter how hard things get. The stories of Thomas Edison, J.K. Rowling, Nelson Mandela, Michael Jordan, Oprah Winfrey, and Malala Yousafzai remind us that resilience is possible for everyone. It is not about being fearless or never falling. It is about getting up every time we fall and never losing hope. So, when life gets tough, remember these stories. Remember that you have the power to bounce back, to learn, and to grow. You have the power of resilience.